Good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this live session by Drishti IAS. As you know, in this live session we actually discuss the Indian Express newspaper and whatever important articles are there which can be important for our exam point of view. So, we will be discussing that in detail and then we will be having some practice questions. So, let us start with the today's discussion. Here we will start the session with a practice question which was given to you in the last episode and then we will discuss it. And afterwards we will be discussing few important articles that is related to eye oncology AI. So, basically use of AI in cancer treatment. So, we will be talking about that. Afterwards there will be a discussion on Muslim women's right under section 125 of CRPC. Okay. So, when we are talking about Muslim women's right, there are some you can say tussle between the personal rights what Muslim women have under their personal laws, and then we have the CRPC which is a common law for India. So, there is a tussle going on between the rights, or you can say maintenance related rights of Muslim women comparing the personal laws with CRPC section 125. So, court has said something about it. So, we will be discussing that, and afterwards USA's UN resolution. So, you must have heard that Israel Hamas issue and various UNSC resolution has been put forward by various nations like even UAE had done that, then South South Africa has done that. So, after all those resolutions, now USA has drafted one resolution. So, we will be talking about that. Afterwards, we will be discussing some news from the world around, and then some article will be there for your own read, and then there will be a practice question which will be discussed in the next class. Okay. So, now here you can see that is the front page of Indian Express of the day. Here Punjab farmers reject government's offer. We have discussed this government's offer, so we will not go into details of that offer because yesterday only we have discussed that. But right now we will be discussing this small article over there, okay, and then there will be one article for your own read which is related to this particular thing only, okay. Now, amnesty stressed 100 project violation cleared. So, basically when we are talking about this article, here they are talking about environmental impact assessment, or you can say any kind of permission which is required by any project before going further, okay. So, in that regard, government has come up with amnesty project wherein they have given some you can say clearance to the other some projects over there, and it was initially for 6 months, but that actually stretched for like 6 years now, okay. So, we will be talking about that and then other articles which we have already discussed, okay. So, let us start with the practice question which was given to you in the last class. Which organization collaborated with ISRO on NISAR mission, okay. So, we have talked about this mission that would be for the you can say study of earth and let us say land area as well as sea level rise, etc., okay. So, this particular satellite will be talking about you can say ice melting or some hazardous activities or the natural hazards which are happening like earthquakes, tsunamis. All these things will be observed by this satellite, and some computation can be sent to the center on the earth, okay. So, that mission is developed by NASA and ISRO, okay. Even they have given some hint in the name itself, NASA for an, IS for ISRO, okay. Then National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, C would be your right answer. So, now let us start the discussion from the front page. Hold on. Okay. So, you know that there is this protest going on by the farmers, and farmers has made some demands. They are saying that they want MSP and they want a legal backing for MSP, okay. And there are further demands like pension for farmers and laborers, and you can say they are also asking for certain things like Manrega should be attached with their fields, and per day wage should be increased to 700 rupees per day. So, all these demands has been put forward by these farmers, but the thing is there is talks going on between government and farmer to come up with an agreement with 3 or 4 level of talks has happened, or you can say rounds of talks has happened. In the last round they have government has said that they have proposed some agreement to the farmers, and today farmers are saying that they have rejected government's offer, okay. We stick to our demands for legal guarantee to MSP for all crops, says farmer leaders. So those demands, as I told you, this is clear that they are asking for MSP for all crops and there should be a legal guarantee. Right now when we are talking about MSP, this is advised by the CACP, and government announces that okay, there is no legal backing behind it. Now they want a legislation which says that MSP would be guaranteed for all the crops. Okay, that is their demand. But government or the minister has said that they have given some offer in which they have said that there is some institutions like NAFED, etc. They will be providing you some financial aid. Other than that also they will be going for procurement on MSP, and there will be a contract of 5 years. Okay, so such few demands, such few terms has been proposed by a government, but such offer has been rejected by farmers now. Okay, so if you want to read about the this offer, here is this article which you can go through. This is about the center's MSP proposal, what center has proposed and which has been rejected by the farmers. This article was given in the explain, so you can go through it. Okay, other than that also, if you want to discuss this demand or you want to see, you can go and check the last video in which we have discussed these offers. Okay, so now let's move further. Other than that also, if I'm telling you this, I will tell you that in this proposal they have talked about farmers should go for the diversification. Like right now farmers are mostly focused on rice and paddy, such crops. Okay, in this particular proposal they have said that farmers should also go for pulses, etc., because pulses are also being procured on the MSP. Okay, so now when we are talking about self-sufficiency in pulses by 2027, so this is our objective, that pulses production should increase, and since it can be converged with our objective, they want MSP is there for the pulses, and you can go for the diversification from wheat and paddy to pulses also. Okay, so one thing is diversification. Other than that, there will be a financial aid. Then there will be institution like cotton institution which will be procuring cotton. There will be institution like NAFED which will be giving some financial aid. Other than that, there will be a contract of 5 years with NAFED, and they will procure the crops at the MSP. Okay, so that is the proposal which has been given by the central government, which has been rejected by the farmers now. Now moving to the second article, that is related to your eye oncology. Okay, so when we are talking about oncology, you can say oncology is a science wherein we study different type of cancer and areas revolving around it, let's say treatment, etc. All such things are basically discussed in oncology. Okay, when we are talking about eye oncology, so you can say that there is some kind of IT related perspective which is attached to it. Okay, in the recent article what we are talking about, eye oncology and AI tool. Okay, so basically here we are discussing the role of artificial intelligence in treatment of cancer, or how you can utilize artificial intelligence in cancer. Okay, so there is some particular process wherein they have involved, the scientist has been involved with some project, and in which some data has been collected, and that data has been stored in a supercomputer, and based on which there was a tool which has been developed so that it can be decided which type of cancer is there, and accordingly diagnosis can be done. Okay, so that is how they have decided develop such tool. First we will see how this will work, and afterwards we will be coming to the article. When you are talking about artificial intelligence, okay, or any AI algorithm, how it works is that they will rely on huge amount of data. Okay, so once you have this data as an input, AI developed software looks for patterns available in data. Once we have this data, they will look for pattern in that data, and accordingly they will give you their output. Okay, so basically what kind of data can be used that as the, you can say, input here. So when we are talking about cancer treatment in an institutions like AIIMS, okay, since this project is based in AIIMS, so we will be talking about that. So all the patients which has cancer in AIIMS, their data, histographs or scans, all these things can be stored in the computer, and all those people who has been treated for the cancer, first who are having cancer, or all those who has been treated for the cancer in a specific health system with available data. So basically all those data will be taken, that data will be stored, we will make a pool of this data. Out of this data, this AI can learn sample of data used to develop AI algorithm. This pool of data AI will use it as a input and they will try to find a pattern. Okay, so they will decide how many type of cancers are there. Okay, based on which they will compartmentalize in different forms, considering that whenever you are giving some out other input saying that what kind of cancer is that. Okay, so they will have a database to refer to. Okay, so now such database, let's say AIMS has some 1,000 cancer patients and they have all the data related to those patients since they have entered into the hospital until they have gone discharged. Okay, so all those data, be it any test, be it blood test, be it your scan, be it any kind of history related patterns, all these things will be stored in a computer. Okay, now computer which they are using is from the CDAC facility Pune. Okay, so they will be storing all this data and then this data will be used as an input for this AI algorithm. They will find patterns into it. Once they find this pattern, okay, now you will enter data of any future patient. Okay, as soon as you enter the data of that future patient, it will go through the database. It will decide that if there is any similar format available to them. Okay, if they have similar format, they will directly put it forward saying that this is having this much percentage of the you can say similarity, and based on which doctor can decide what kind of cancer it is, and based on which they can say go for any diagnosis and treatment for further. Okay, so that is basically the working behind it here. As I told you, predictions based on the AI algorithm for the patients from the available data. Okay, so they will make predictions and accordingly doctor will work on that. Okay, now coming to the article here. Can artificial intelligence help doctor identify the best therapy for their patients? Okay, so AIMS is trying to do the same. Okay, so this project is based on AIMS and this is the name what they have given, iOncology AI. Okay, which employs a supercomputer based in CDAC Pune and a high capacity server, that is Charak 1 at National Cancer Institute campus in Jajjar. Okay, so you have to remember that we have this Charak 1 which they are using as a high capacity server which is placed in Jajjar. Okay, so these two things they are using, one supercomputer from CDAC and Charak from Jajjar. Okay, now doctors can determine the most common type of genetic mutations in their patients, helping them narrow in on best treatment options. So basically they are talking about genetic mutation. When we are talking about cancer, they are mostly nothing but cell growth. Okay, and cell growth are based on some kind of mutation in the gene. So now they will find a pattern in the gene mutation and accordingly they will go for suggesting some kind of treatment. Okay, now a doctor treating someone with a breast cancer, let's say a particular type, that is HER2, cross references the data related to the therapy that has worked for patients of similar genetic makeup. So basically let's say there is a patient and there was a patient in the past as well with a similar case. Okay, and in that regard they will compare these two and then they will give their prediction. So that will be easy, that will be an informed choice, that will be a faster choice. Okay, so informed, faster and the precise therapy choices will be available that can save time, and if there is a saving of time, cancer is all about different phases of cancers are there. Okay, so till a particular phase there is a treatment for cancer. So ultimately the time is the key here, and then we will be making faster and informed choice in such regard. Okay, iOncology aim to sequence the genome of 3,000 cancer patients who are currently seeking treatment at AIMS. Okay, so we have taken example of 1,000 people, but right now there are 3,000 people who are seeking treatment from the AIMS. They are trying to compile the data of these 3,000 people. Okay, now question is, does a patient's genetic makeup correlate with the efficiency of diverse cancer therapies? Okay, so they are saying that if we are talking about the genetic makeup of a person, can we correlate with some kind of treatment? Okay, so based on the data, if we are going through various number of data, so you can identify that if there is a genetic mutation of particular type and corresponding to that you have a treatment option that can be done. Okay, so AIMS it was found to be 75% accurate when compared to the diagnosis provided by the clinicians. So basically they are saying that whatever they have been going through or whatever the project they are going through under the survey, they have realized that in such cases there is a 75% accuracy. Okay, so we can go for such things. Okay, when we are talking about DNA related cheese or genetic mutation related things, we cannot say that there will be 100% similarity, because every person has different genome sequencing, etc. So that is why 75% accuracy is quite good. And afterwards, genomic data is powerful tool for medical researchers and doctors. It helps them understand how variation in DNA affects our health. So basically, if there is a different type of mutations which they are studying under the genomic data, they can go for a precise therapy, precise targeted therapy. Okay. Now this is an evolving platform. The more data it gets, the more accurate it will become. So obviously, as I told you, there are various kind of changes, various kind of mutations. The more data it will have, the more precise it will be. Okay. Now, how does the tool work, which I have already told you in the last section, wherein we have seen that it will compile all the data from the patients, and then it will be searching for the current whatever input you are giving. Based on that, it will provide you the result and the similarity between the two cases. Okay. So which we have already taken. Is it for all type of cancers? Now the thing is, right now they are focusing on 5 type of cancers. Okay. So breast cancer, ovarian cancer, head and neck cancer, colorectal cancer, and 2 type of blood cancers. So at present they are focusing on this is the target basically, because these 5 cancers are kind of prevalent. And right now when we are talking about this particular project, okay, so in this particular project they are only taking data of breast cancer and ovarian cancer in that institution. Okay, but target is to go for these 5 cancers. What really look at to decide whether a patient has cancer, what stage of cancer it has, and what should be the treatment protocol. So basically, if you go to a doctor, they will go for such questions based on which they will diagnose the things. Okay, so such things or such pattern can be looked through a AI tool as well. So ultimately, in this way they are trying to develop a AI tool which will be beneficial for treatment of cancer. Okay, now we will be moving forward with the next article. Hold on. Okay. So now we have discussed this mechanism. Now amnesty stressed, 100 project with violation cleared. So basically, an amnesty window opened for just 6 months in March 2017 to clear projects in a novel violation category become a routine now, provided ex post facto approval to over 100 projects. Still the Supreme Court stays the notification. So basically what happened in 2017, there were some projects which were under the violation category, which we will discuss what is the violation category. But to because of these things are in the violation category, so there was no environmental clearance given to them. Okay. Now government has come up with this amnesty project or amnesty window, under which such activities, or you can say such categories, on the case to case basis they have decided, and they have given approval to certain projects. Okay. Now that was initially for the 6 months, and now this has become a norm. It has been 6 years now, still it is continuing. Now Supreme Court has intervened and they have made a stay on the notification. Okay. So what is violation category? Let's see. Project that started work without obtaining a mandatory prior environmental clearance or exceeds the limits set as under the clearance fall under the violation category. So let's see, if there is a project before which you have to go for an environmental clearance. Let's say some infrastructure project is there. So for that you have to go for environment impact assessment, EIA. Okay. So this EIA is important because every project will have some kind of impact on the environment, and before going for such project we have to go for assessment of those impacts. So environment impact assessment will be there. This is done by a particular authority and they will give the clearance, and based on that clearance only you can go for your infrastructure development or any kind of project. Okay. So once you have got this clearance, then there is no problem. But if you have not sought this particular clearance, and if you have sought this but you did not get it, in that case, and you have went ahead with the projection, or you can say you started the construction. So such things which you have violated, because there is a norm which has to be fulfilled, but you have violated that norm. Okay, so that is why you can say that this is violative category. Even if you have got the environment clearance for certain terms, with certain terms and conditions, and you have actually exceeds those terms and conditions, even in that case also you will be under the violative category. Okay. So once this is under the violation category, what happens is that that particular project has to be stayed. Okay, because it will have some impact on the environment. Okay. So now once a project is considered fit for appraisal, let's say you got the environment assessment done and you got fit for the appraisal, there will be a term of reference issues for the assessing its environmental impact, and final decision on the clearance depends on that assessment. Okay. So once you know that there is this particular project which is fit for the appraisal, and then there will be term of reference for the assessment, and if you complete all those things, and afterwards you will be giving the full clearance. Okay, but that is not important, that is technical for you, so you don't have to remember that. Only thing is, if you have not got this particular assessment report, or if you have if you had the assessment report and you have got the clearance, but for particular term with particular terms, but you have actually exceeded or excessed those terms, in that case also that project will be under the violative category. Okay. Now considered as a one-time opportunity, it became a routine process when the Union Environment Ministry notified a standard operating procedure for identification and handling of violation cases in 2021. Okay. So basically earlier it was just a window for such projects, but in 2021 Environmental Ministry has made a standard protocol. Okay, you can say a procedure through which they can go for clearance of such violative category projects. Okay. So now that is problematic, because if they are in violation with the environment impact assessment, then how can you give it a clearance? Okay. And if at all for certain projects, or you can say on the case by case method, you have decided that this project with some certain restrictions put on it can be moved ahead with, but the thing is you cannot do it for every project for like 6 years. So once that notification has come, Supreme Court has intervened and they have put a stay on that. Okay. Now such policies did not help regulatory processes. When we are talking about environment impact assessment, it is a regulatory process wherein you are trying to regulate the infrastructure activities or development activities which are going against the environment. So such project like this making standard operation procedures for violative categories, that will not be good for the environment. Okay. In principle, ex post facto clearance should be avoided, as it only complicates the matter, because since you have already gone for the construction and then if you are getting the clearance, okay, it means that that is an ex post facto clearance. Like if you are getting a clearance after you have done the construction. Okay. So you can say that if you are getting it in a retrospect, or best word is to that ex post facto, like you have done the construction and afterwards you are going for the clearance, but right way should have been first go for the clearance and then start the construction. Okay. So that thing is not good. So but if you are going for the construction, or let's say afterwards you did not get the clearance, then what would happen? Either you have to demolish that particular building, or in that regard you can say that there will be a cost to that. Okay. Other than that also, if you are going for, let's say they don't go for demolition of that particular building, so it will be against the environment. You must have heard about this flooding in Chennai, etc. So if they have gone for the clearance first, and then if we have realized that that particular area is a valley region, or you can say an area which is a water catchment, in that area there are chances there will be a floods. So those floods could have been avoided, because they have raised buildings in an area which is the area of collection of water. Okay. So if that environment assessment could have done beforehand, that would have been avoided. Okay. So such things can happen if you have gone for the ex post facto clearances. Okay. Now EIA notification 2006 was aligned with the international practices of prior clearance. It is one of the thing to remedy technical violations if a project deviates from the certain clearance conditions. Quite another to the condone projects that started work without obtaining unnecessary clearance. So now if the thing is without any necessary clearance, the thing is, if you are going for the ex post facto clearance, you can't do anything about it, just you can just condone the project. Other than that you can't do anything. Okay. Judgments by the Supreme Court in Common Cause versus Union of India and Alembic Pharmaceuticals versus Rohit Prajapati in 2022. These are judgments. If you want to remember, it's okay. Otherwise also that is not important. Only thing important is that concept of ex post facto clearance is against the fundamental principle of environmental jurisprudence, and EIA notification 2006, which requires a prior environment clearance, which is which has been upheld. Okay. So basically they are saying that ex post facto clearance is against the environmental jurisprudence, or you can say that if there is any environmental law, that is you can say 2006 notification, which is saying that you should go for the prior clearance, and now government is going for such notification wherein they are giving clearance to the violation category buildings. In that case, that would be against the environmental law and environmental jurisprudence. Okay, so that is about this particular thing. Now with this regard, what they can ask you from in the exam is that first thing, they can ask you about the EIA notification, that is in 2006. Other than that, they can ask about environmental impact assessment in the mains as well. Okay, so that can be a topic, so you can prepare it from your static part. Now moving further, as I discussed earlier as well, there was this issue of maintenance when we are talking about our personal laws, and then there is this CRPC. Okay, so there is this act, that is Muslim Women's Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986. I will refer it as a 1986 Act. Okay, and then we have CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code, which has been converted to BNS now. Okay, okay, hold on. So now 1986 Act does not talk about maintenance to women who has who has got the divorce from their spouses. Okay, now when we are talking about CRPC has section 125. Okay, this section talks about maintenance to a divorced woman. Okay, so that is the section of maintenance. When we are talking about 1986, there is no maintenance. In this particular case, what happens? A man has given divorce to his wife based on triple talaq, and then wife gone to court, and court has asked for 10,000 rupees, you can say maintenance, or 10 or 20,000, I don't remember, but the thing is some certain amount of this is 20,000 monthly. So basically they have asked for the 20,000 of maintenance. Now this person goes to the higher court and says that in Muslim personal laws, or you can say 1986 laws, there is no such thing as maintenance, so I am not liable to pay such maintenance. Okay, now this matter come to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court says that nothing under this particular act, 1986 Act, they don't talk about maintenance, doesn't mean that CRPC won't be availed. Okay, so the thing is, they have not said that there would not be any maintenance. They have not talked about maintenance. Okay, so there is no mention of the word maintenance in this particular act. So we can say that since they did not refer it here, or they did not talk about it here, doesn't mean that government cannot talk about it here in the CRPC. Second thing is, if there is a benefit to all women in India under CRPC, why not a woman, Muslim woman can avail this particular benefit under CRPC 125. Okay, so now Supreme Court has made it clear that since in this particular act they did not talk about it, so it is you cannot say that there is no provision of maintenance in the Muslim laws, or you can say in this particular law there is a provision in CRPC, so a divorced woman can go and avail this particular provision. Okay, so that is the observation of Supreme Court in this particular case. They have reserved the verdict as of now, but the thing is, most probably we will see that they will allow this maintenance under section 125. When we are talking about this particular act, that is Muslim law or Muslim Women's Protection on Rights on Divorce Act 1986, that has been enacted by Rajiv Gandhi government aftermath of Shah Bano case. Okay, so after that, this particular act did not say that divorced Muslim woman cannot file you can say maintenance application under section 125 of the CRPC 1973. Okay, so ultimately Supreme Court has said that since it has not mentioned or talked about maintenance in their act, so they can avail maintenance from CRPC 125. Okay, this section 125 of CRPC becomes important for you as well. Okay, so that is what they have discussed in this article. Other than that, they have also talked about one thing, that since every woman in the country is getting benefit of 125 if she is asking for maintenance after divorce. Okay, so if we do not provide this particular provision to a Muslim woman just because there is another law, that would be a violation of article 40, 15 and 16. You can say that would be a violation of right to equality. Okay, so that would be a violation of fundamental right to equality, and that is what Supreme Court has relied, and they have said that that particular section will be available to Muslim women as well. Okay, now moving further around the world, now we'll be talking about certain things, that is Rafah offensive shouldn't proceed. US draft UN resolution supporting temporary ceasefire in Gaza war. So till now, USA has been averse of using this word ceasefire in any past resolutions wherein there has been voting, etc. UN USA has most of the time vetoed such votings. Okay, but right now USA has started their own resolution. They are saying that USA has proposed a rival draft United Nations Security Council resolution that would underscore the body's support for temporary ceasefire in Gaza as soon as practicable. Okay, Washington has been averse to the word ceasefire in UN action on Israel-Hamas war. The draft says a major ground for offensive in Gaza would be result in further harm to civilians. Okay, so basically here there was this resolution from various nations. Okay, in the you can say rival draft USA has prepared. Okay, the draft says that a major ground offensive into Rafah would result into harms to civilians and their further displacement, including into the neighborhood countries. Okay, when we are talking about this Rafah crossing, we have talked about this particular location various times. Rafah crossing is between Gaza and Egypt. Okay, so Gaza is right now under, it was under the control of Hamas, but right now there is a military action going on in Gaza from Israel side. So there is this people of the Gaza Strip has been pushed to the Rafah crossing. Now they are saying that even in this article they are saying that they might go to the Gaza, or they might take some action, military action in the Gaza Rafah crossing as well. Okay, if there is a action in the Rafah crossing, these people will have to migrate to the neighboring countries, and countries like Egypt etc. are not willing to take refugees at that point of time. Okay, or any country, as a matter of fact, in this particular world right now, they are not entertaining refugees or any migrants. Okay, so we have talked about this Mayotte Island in the Indian Ocean. That is a French territory. That is also in issue in news because of the migration related issues. When you are talking about UK is also they have a plan to send people to Rwanda, but Supreme Court has struck down that plan. Okay. Otherwise, also when we are talking about Myanmar and India border, Myanmar Bangladesh border, there is also been issues of migration because of the civil war which has been going on in Myanmar. So considering all these things, right now no country would want migrants from other country because of their own issues are there. So that would be a problem. Okay, over 1 million Palestinians has sought shelter in Rafah. An assault would have serious implication for regional peace and security, and therefore underscores that such a major ground offensive should not proceed under current circumstances. So basically they are saying that Israel should not take any actions and UNSC should make sure it doesn't happen. Okay. Now there were various you can say such resolutions which has been put forward. The USA put forward the text after Algeria Saturday requested the council votes on its resolution which demanded immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Okay, so as I told you, USA has gone for their own draft, rival draft against this particular resolution. Okay, generally USA doesn't till now USA has not gone for their own draft. Okay, they have not gone for their own resolution. Most of the time what they have done is that whenever there is such a resolution, USA has vetoed it. Okay, but right now they are going for a rival draft resolution. Okay, now release hostages by Ramadan or fighting will continue, says Bibi. So basically he is the president, Prime Minister of Israel. So he has said that Netanyahu, he has said that if there is these hostages, they have not been released before Ramadan, there will be a further military action in that particular area. Okay, so that is the about resolution. That is just a development. You don't have to worry much about it. Just a development. I had to tell you, so I did. Now further, Maldives will thwart illegal efforts to impeach Moizu, says senior minister. So basically, opposition in Maldives has been trying to remove President Moizu from the office. Okay, now government is saying that such actions or such illegal actions will be will have some kind of consequences. So that is the thing. There is nothing much to discuss about it. Just know that there was initially a no confidence motion which was supposed to be placed before parliament in Myanmar. Okay, but President Moizu got passed through that. But the thing is, right now also opposition is trying to get him out of the office because he has some policies which are, you can say, inclined with China, okay, and the whole opposition in Maldives, or you can say people in Maldives, are in favor of having relations with India, okay, because we know that China has this transactional nature of policies, wherein they will give you the debt, they will give you that for the infrastructure building, they will help you with the infrastructure, but ultimately they will want something in returns, they will want something back from you, okay. So in that regard, that becomes important that President Moizu should consider their policies again. So that is about this article. Now for your own read, there is one article. I have not gone into details of this article because there are certain technicalities when we are talking about what is division, what is battalion, all these things are discussed here, but that is not much important from our exam point of view. But I would like you to go through this article, just give it a read. You don't have to have a detailed idea about it, but just know that there is certain development which are happening, okay. Now army set up new corps for operation along LAC. So basically that is technically not a new corps, but the thing is there was a theatre command. When we are talking about India, there is a central command, okay, or central theatre, or you can say which is having Uttar Bharat theatre, which is having a headquarter in UP, okay. So basically what happens is this particular theatre is responsible for the activities in LAC as well, okay. So if there is something going on in the LAC, or some kind of war is going on in LAC, so this particular theatre will respond to it. But the thing is, in the peace time, they will take care of different aspects, which is, or you can say there are certain things which are civilian in nature maybe. So that is being done by this particular command here, okay. But recently you know that on LAC there has been certain things or certain development which makes our policy little bit inclined towards more focused on LAC area, and that is why they are saying that this command will take care of LAC problem fully, okay. So you can say that will be acting as a solely for LAC. So they have said that the army is converting its headquarter Uttar Bharat area into full-fledged operational corps, a move that will shift its focus towards operation along LAC from its current responsibility of peacetime duties. As I told you, in the peacetime there are certain duties which is to be performed by army and which is performed by this Uttar Bharat headquarter. But the thing is, now they will be converting into a full-fledged corps, okay. So here you can say based in Bareilly, the headquarter Uttar Bharat area is currently a static information looking for peacetime locations and training establishment of Uttarakhand and Western Uttar Pradesh, in addition to LAC running along Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So basically what they do is right now various aspects like let's say training program, etc. So they will be monitoring all those things along with the additional to the running the LAC related operations. But right now that will be converted into a full-fledged corps which is solely focused on LAC area. A corps comprises elements of all arms and services with adequate reserve to carry out operations in the area of responsibility. It is structured to hold 3 divisions, but it can hold more or less as per the requirement. Each division will comprise of 15,000 to 18,000 troops, okay. So basically it was having different duties earlier. Now it will be having a solely one responsibility which is related to your LAC, and now it will focus on that only, okay. So that is about this article. You can go and give it a read. Now for your practice, there is a question: I-oncology term has been in news recently. What does it refers to? Okay. A. Use of AI in study of viruses. B. Use of AI in study of bacteria. C. Use of AI in study of cancers. And D. Use of AI in study of vaccines. Okay. So if you know that what oncology is, you must be able to answer the answer this question. So I would like you to answer this question in the comment box. With that, I would like to wrap up the session. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.